Okay, so let's look at doing a rate book for a job order. So don't forget, it's very easy just to do a pay and charge job order that only applies to normal time. That does make things very, very difficult if payroll are trying to pay overtime or shift penalties or things like that. So I think what we should try and do is create rate books wherever possible. As a starting point to developing a rate book, you should refer to the spreadsheet that you've done for calculating a charge or a quote to a client. In this case, we've got a transport worker rate spreadsheet set out, and you can see we've got the pay and the charge for normal time. That's all we'd need if we're doing a regular job order. But the beauty of a rate book is it allows a whole bunch of different scenarios. For example, overtime after the first 2 hours, or the first 2 hours, overtime after 2 hours, working on a Saturday, afternoon shift, night shift, etc., etc. One possible solution is, instead of doing a rate book, we have multiple job orders that cover normal time, this scenario here, working on a Saturday, etc. But that becomes very confusing for payroll. So make sure if you've got a job where it's going to have overtime or shifts or things like that, that you always do a rate book. So now that we know what the pay and charge are for all these scenarios, we can go and develop a rate book. We go into Work Desk and System Miscellaneous Maintenance. You scroll along the top here, you'll find Rate Book Template. And here you can see we can add, alter or delete. Well, in this case, we're going to add a rate book. Now the rate code, what we need to do is actually have a format for naming these rate books. So for example, if it were Green Life Group, we would take the first couple of letters for the company name, and then we would have the level. So it could be level 2, and then the last few numbers of the year. So it's 2017. So that's all we need to name the rate book. Now, the overhead basis, leave that as rate book percentage. The description, this could be whatever you like. So Green Life, Group, OUP, level 3, for example. Now it's very important that you change this pay charge basis to amount. Don't have it as multiplier, otherwise it'll really muck things up. Now we have to put in the default pay and the default charge. Well, we can go back to our spreadsheet here. This isn't for horticulture, but whatever. We'll say grade 3, 2433. So here, 2433. And the charge for that was 32.97. 32.97. Don't worry about the default overhead accrual. The cost category is whatever state you're in. So if it's South Australia, it's B. If it's Queensland, it's Q. So whatever state you're in, put that in there. And now we have all the different scenarios. The one that we always start with is normal time. So drop down box, choose normal time. It automatically puts in this figure here, and the charge is 32.97. Don't worry about the percentage, but the OTE here, that stands for ordinary time earnings. So because it's normal time, the answer is yes. It's always going to be yes in these scenarios unless it's overtime, because in overtime we don't charge super. So yes for everything except overtime scenarios. Now we can go through and either choose the stock standard scenarios here, or we can write them in. I prefer to write them in based on what we've got from the Fair Work pay guides. So for example, overtime for the first 2 hours. Let's go back to there and type OT first 2 hours, something like that. Now what we can do is actually plug in the figures from the spreadsheet here. So if it was level 3, it's $31.14. $31.14, and the charge is $40.87. Now, it is overtime, so remember we need to leave OTE, or ordinary times earnings, as no. Very important. Next one, we might say OT after 2 hours. And go back. Oops. $40.87. Oh, I bugged that one up, didn't I? $40.87. So I put the wrong charge there. I put a pay rate. $37.68. $37.68. Now $40.87 pay. That one. $51.99. $51.99. Again, it's no because it's not ordinary time earnings. And we'll do one more. The more of these you put in, the better for payroll. Let's just say the only other option might be working on a Saturday. So $36.06. And is it in there? No. So we'll just type it in. Saturday, I think it was 36.06, 34.06, and the charge is 44.16. So for this one, OTE would be yes, because it's not overtime; it's a penalty. Everything's all done now. We hit save, and that's to create a rate book, and the other procedures will show you how to add that to a job order or how to update an existing rate book.